What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new tactic. Today we have got the new Meta 424, my best 424 to date. Firstly, I hope you had a great Christmas and Boxing Day. This is going to be the first tactic after that period. I do want to quickly say up until the 31st of this month, there's an exclusive discount on the Patreon. So make sure you go on over and get involved. But let's break through this 100% win rate tactic at its very best. Yes, with a powerhouse, but we also have got a smaller team. Let's get in there. So then, powerhouse out of the way first, and we're going to go down to a sort of top 6 team, then to a very small team. We are going to go with Salzburg, where we enjoy a fantastic time over in Austria. The Austrian FA Cup, we are also going to be absolutely dominant in a 3-0 win over Wolfsberger AC, and the league alone was just an absolute domination station, as we like to say. Now, as you can see, the Champions League was probably the only real weakness, but the Austrian Premier Division, I mean, it was an absolute blitzen as well. 22 out of 22, all of our players in the average rating. We are obviously the powerhouse of this league. There's no secret about that. 163 goals, most shots, the fewest shots against, the most possession as well at 62%, the fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. That is absolutely remarkable. Now, the data hub doesn't lie. As you can see, over 5 goals a game, 0.34 conceded, an immaculate pass completion, a very good tackle win ratio. And the shots per game, only 0.9 off a bang on 26 mark. That is going to be, we're blown off the doors in the first test. Ready to level up your game? Dive into the action with our 500% welcome bonus, where you could turn the odds in your favour and win up to $90,000. For our sportsbook players, we've got something extra. Risk-free bets on selected matches so you can play with confidence. But don't just take our word for it. Check out our stellar reviews on Trustpilot and see why players love our platform. So if you're like me and love to have a cheeky bet on football matches, this is the perfect platform where you can bet across all of football's top leagues. Oh, and here's a little hint. We've got something big coming soon. Stay tuned for an epic promotion that is going to change the game. And we're going to watch a 7-goal bloodbath game. I mean, this was one of the easier games we had, but for you to understand and actually get to see how good these goals actually are and the pure variety. Look at the state of that pitch, by the way. That is an absolute joke. Mud spots everywhere. I feel sorry for the goalkeeper. But a lot of the goals were done from this high, intense pressing style, never wanting to give up on the ball, always seeking to win the ball back. And as you can see, the goals come quite quick. They come thick and they come fast. And I will say, the likes of Oscar Glau thrived in the system, doesn't even feature his default position, but of course can play out on the right or the left hand side, and the goals, they simply kept coming. And I'm going to include the stats at the end of this game because it is utter domination. We're then going to go over to Chelsea. I love watching Chelsea in real life, mainly because of Cole Palmer. Unfortunately, not a great result against Fulham recently, but I will say the Carabao Cup, we are going to win 4-2 over Tottenham. You'll have to see that. The quarter-final exit isn't ideal, and it was a 2-0 loss, so, you know, not close really. And the Conference League was a great display, but we lose it to Mourinho's Fenerbahce in extra time. But I mean, genuinely, in terms of the Premier League, it is absolutely beautiful. Now, Nkunku thrived in this system, and he was playing as a striker, to make that very, very clear. Nicholas Jackson also done very well. Cole Palmer, who would have thought it, the best player in the building, and also the second most amount of clean sheets from our goalkeeper. Now in terms of the stats, goals-wise, we're beautiful. Shots over 770. Possession, we have fallen down a little bit, but we are now playing against your Arsenal, your Man City, so a third place I will take. Defensively, we were absolutely sound though, and I will say we back it up as well in the data hub. Now, yes, it's less goals a game. We are in the Premier League. We are not a powerhouse in the Premier League now, and some of our key players were playing out of position. Now, a 4-2-4 doesn't usually feature Cole Palmer's best position, which is through the middle on this game, so he was playing out on the left-hand side. He's still done a very good job, but of course, if you are playing players that are locked into a 4-2-4, for example, like a team of great wingers, no real great AM, so you're suited and booted, you'll get even better stats. But this is really, really impressive. Up the Blues. That is going to be the video of goals today. As you can see, we get off to a great start here inside of 20 minutes with none other than Cole Palmer himself. A great goal inside of 20 minutes there, a set piece. Again, if you haven't got them, make sure you're going to get them. We're going to recreate the best set pieces for FM25 as well, so don't you worry. And this time they are going to be on console and on mobile as well. But as you can see and hear me rumbling on in the background, the goals just purely kept on coming and coming and coming. And I'll be honest with you, every player was getting involved. Every player loved it. Every player thrived in this 4-2-4 system. And I picked Chelsea because I was like, it might not work. Let's put a challenge in. And do you know what? They paid dividends and they paid out big time. And as you can see by the stats, Wolves may as well stayed at home. And lastly, we have got a niche team. We have got a weak team in the French league called Dunkerque. Now, if any of you are Dunkerque fans, please leave a comment, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know too much about the team, but I believe this is a good season. The French Cup we're not going to talk about, but the French League, we were very good. We only actually lost one game, and a lot of our players were some of the top performers. The overview-wise, goal-scoring-wise, insane. Shots-wise, insane. Possession, even really, really good. Defensively, very, very sound as well. And the data hub, I would imagine, pretty decent, just under 3 goals, but defensively even better than Chelsea. Now, I will say, again, knowledge is limited, but if anyone knows anything about Dunkerque, let me know. I did randomly generate a team of a certain standard, and these did come up, so if you're wondering why I picked them, blame AI. But now, of course, over to your favourite part of the video. If you are enjoying back home, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And once again, if you do enjoy rebuilds, you must go over to the second channel, Daily Josh. It's going to be in the description. We post a rebuild once every 3 days, when FM25 drops once every 2 days. So your team will 100% get featured. We've got loads of cool concepts on there, and you also get a load of extra Patreon perks you might not even think you're going to be getting. So make sure you go over and check it out. But to make this tactic, you want to do 2 things. The Gegenpress, because that is by far the most broken thing this year, and we are simply going to load in the 4-2-4 DM wide. Let's get building. So, we're going to go over right away and change one thing. That is going to be the goalkeeper. Now, I will say, in terms of the actual mentality, it is still going to be on that positive vibe. So make sure you are keeping that nice and simple. Let me just reset it quickly. Here we go. So the sweeper keeper is going to come in, who is simply going to be on support. Once again, I don't want anything crazy from this player. Just do your job. Shot stop. That's all the real focus is. You don't even need to be that crazy in terms of coming out. So that's why he's not on attack. Quite reserved, to be honest. Now, the wing-back on the right-hand side is going to be set to attack, and he is going to have some very, very important instructions. And those instructions are going to consist of these things: run wide, close down more, and also tackle harder. Just to make this very clear, because I know a lot of people still sort of struggle to how I get close down more as an option, you need to come here and have this in the middle. That's all you need to do, is have that nice and blank. Now, when it comes to the left back, because, again, I do quite like mirrored tactics, meaning what goes on the right also goes on the left, we are therefore going to go and apply the same theory. Run wide, also close down, and also tackle harder. So these players are going to be very, very aggressive winning the ball back, and when they've got the ball, they are going to provide width by running wide. Now, you are going to see tackle harder and close down on a fair few players, especially on the back line, because this is a meta tactic. Whatever is the best in the game to do for you to get results, I'm going to provide in these videos. So if you don't like seeing tackle harder, it is going to be in this video. I'm going to be honest with you, because it is the best thing to do. Whether it's realistic or not goes out the window with these meta tactics, because these are for people that want results and don't care about what instructions that are on. So both of the ball playing defenders are going to have close down more and also tackle harder. And you might think, Josh, they're all going to fly out at the same time. No, they don't. They do not fly out at the same time. Just having this on prevents it from... You always have that player that sits there and lets them go past you. When you've got these 2 things on, they don't do that. They put a challenge in, they get stuck in. That's exactly what you need to be doing. Yes, you get the odd booking here or there, but as long as you rotate, you got a good squad depth, even if there's a suspension, you can have it covered. That's the way I look at it. Also, you can sub on a player on a booking, so remember that as well. Now, going over to the DM, who is going to be positioned on the right-hand side, he's going to have a few instructions. These are going to consist, of take fewer risks, dribble less, shoot less, hold the position, and also tackle harder. So this player here is going to be a real defensive brute. Someone to sit deep, defend, and protect the back line, and there's no other man better than a DM. You don't need him on defend either. And to partner him, we are going to go with a DLP, who is simply going to be also set to tackle harder. These players aren't on close down more because the concept of this tactic is the back line really gets active in that, and the sort of DM options are quite reserved in that regard. So the DLP is very important to find the forward runners, so make sure you've got him in the team. We are then going to go with 2 inside forwards, so I'm going to do that right now to remind myself. 2 inside forwards on support. Now, they both are going to share the same instructions, so let's get into it. This is something which I've really enjoyed using lately. Hold up the ball, close down more, tackle harder, and also mark position, mark tighter, with mark the position. So on the right, it is going to be the D in brackets L, as you can see, because obviously it flips when you're in the game, if that makes sense. And on the left-hand side, the first thing we're going to do is mark the D in brackets R, alongside of holding up the ball, closing down more, tackling harder, and I believe marking tighter as well. So they should be exactly the same as they are. Now, this is something, again, which has come quite late on to me. It's simply from the videos I do with FM Scout and things like that. I always saw Nap use the hold-up ball, and I was like, I'll give it a go, and it works very well. Now, I'm not too stuck up to say that, of course, when I learn something from someone like Nap, who is an incredible tactic creator as well, I have to try it, and it worked. It improved my old 4-2-4 very well. So that is why I'm bringing it to you. If you see me on FM Scout, you would have seen me do tons of tactics already before mentioning it. But we are going to go and use the front 2, a poacher on the right-hand side, a role that I don't see anyone else really using. I love it. I think it's brilliant. And the advanced forward is going to have 2 instructions, close down more, and also set to tackle harder. Now we're going to, of course, go over and talk about some of the team instructions. And the first thing is going to be going over to the in possession. Let's quickly change it back to positive because that is the mentality. Now let's talk business. So we are going to go down to fairly narrow. We're going to pass into the space. Overlap left, overlap right, while playing out from the back is going to be required and desired. Don't know why I'm trying to rhyme things. Be more expressive. The tempo is going to be maxed out, and the passing is going to go down by 1 to a shorter passing style. In transition, we're going to counter press and counter. We are probably described a bit of a counter-attacking team while playing to anyone across the back line while simply taking short goal kicks. And lastly, out of possession, you know what's coming. The high press, the much higher line, much more often, get stuck in, and also step up more with that defensive line. And that is going to give you, boys and girls, the default version. Now I've gone over and made you an attacking version for a big team, or if you're trying to chase a game, you can deploy this. Now, the goalkeeper and both of the ball players do remain the same, as does both of the wingbacks, because they do their job already. They're already aggressive. You don't really need to do anything else. The DM changes. Same role, same support. Get forwards and tackle harder. Instruction change. Volante comes in, player role change. Get further forwards, move into channels, and tackle harder. The inside forwards are both now on attack, still marking that certain position on the right and the left. They're still closing down, they're still tackling harder, but on this occasion, they are shooting more often. If you're playing with a team that haven't got good finishers on the left and right flanks, please do not have shoot more often on. It will become very frustrating. Now, going up to the front line, I have added to pressing forward because it adds a bit more emergency, a bit more desire, and he is simply going to be on attack on the default, and the advanced forward, well, he remains unchanged. Now, this is all going to be based off the same style, the attacking mentality now. So we've gone from positive to attacking. In possession, we are still going to go to fairly narrow. We're going to pass into the space. All this good stuff remains exactly the same, including the passing and the tempo. But this is where it gets a bit more edgy because we have the double. Run at defence and also be more expressive. So we are going to be flying forwards, and we're not going to be afraid to do so either. If you're playing as a powerhouse or you're chasing a goal, you can play like this. We're going to counter press and counter, still play to anyone across the back line because we are building out from the back with this style, but this time we are in a rush. We're going to be distributing quickly. And lastly, out of possession, not too much, if anything we can change really. The much higher with the high press. We are also going to add step up more, get stuck in, and also maxed out with the much more often. If you want to, you can prevent short goalkeeper distribution. I personally didn't feel the need because you've got a pressing forward anyway. They do it by default, but that is completely up to you. Now, Lastly, the defensive version. For an underdog team, of course we used it with, let me remind myself, with Dunker Q, or if you are trying to defend a game out, this is going to be your gravy. We are going to go over to the goalkeeper, who simply remains the same. Both of the ball-playing defenders also remain the same. The wing-backs don't. Now on support, still on close down and tackle harder, but not on attack. The DM on the right comes in on support, on take fewer risks, dribble less, shoot less, hold position, and tackle harder, and the anchor comes in, a big role change, simply on tackle harder, on defend. The inside forward matches the right and the left, hold up ball, close down, tackle, and mark the positions. Make sure you have got this applied, by the way, because it's really, really good. A deep line forward comes in to help link up the play, sit deep, as it says on the tin, and link up the play, and the advanced forward, he remains unchanged. Now, again, mentality, positive, style, gegenpress. Back to the positive, like the default version, down to fairly narrow. We still are going to pass into the space. This time we're only going to play out from the back with not real any need of seeking overlapping runs. We're going to work the ball into the box, a bit more patience on the ball, dribble less, the tempo is going to be in the middle, and the passing is going to go all the way down to much shorter, which naturally lowers the tempo to a slightly lower style. In transition, we're going to counter press, slow the pace down, play into anyone across the back line while simply taking short goal kicks. And lastly, out of possession, we're going to deploy the standard line, still with the high press, but no step up more, just get stuck in and max out the trigger press to much more often. And that's going to give you, boys and girls, not one, not two, but 3 variants of the new Meta 424. The hold-up ball is the real big addition, with mark and positions as well. It is elevating my previous version to the next level. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and once again, make sure you are getting yourselves over to Daily Josh. We're posting rebuilds a lot. There's tons already over there, and if you're a Patreon on this channel, you're missing out on all the perks you get in the same tier on the rebuild channel. You get all the rebuild files, all the rebuild tactics. Make sure you're going over and checking it out as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy a new year as well, by the way. Have a great celebration, and hopefully you and your family had yourselves a beautiful Christmas. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.